right. The effects of World War I, ladies and gentlemen. Now, some of the effects of World War I you are reading about in your documents, like how you, Germany, well, first, what was written in the Treaty of Versailles, correct? Now, ladies and gentlemen, the Treaty of Versailles is only between Germany and, and the Allies. Okay? It's only Germany. It's not the rest of the Central Powers. You guys get me? This is just Germany. You know the results of Germany. It's in document 2 on your documents. But we have an acronym for that, and this is what was missing from a lot of you people. BRAT. What does the B stand for?
Blame.
Blame. Very good. They had to take the blame for the war. What about R? The reparations, which means they had to pay for the war. And then A?
Army.
The army. What happened to their army?
Disbanded.
It was reduced. And then what about T? Territory. They had to give up their territories. Specifically, which territories? Yes, colonies, etc. And some of it they had to just give to France. Everybody clear so far?
Yeah.
Good. I'm not going to go over in depth on that. You can look at www.dondeclare for that. You can also look at document 2. What I do want to make sure you know is that we have some problems at the end of World War I. You've read about them. There's a lot of death. There's a lot of casualties. Correct? This is the first total war. Because of the first total war, millions of soldiers die or are injured. When we say casualties, ladies and gentlemen, it means both injuries and deaths. Got it? Anyone injured in the war, anyone who died from the war. That's casualties. It's millions. A third of Europe's population is affected by the casualties in World War I, which means they either died in World War I or they were wounded in World War I and may have eventually died of their wounds, or their wounds affected their daily life, like they may have lost an arm, which means what kind of work are they going to get? Not a lot of work for a one-armed person, correct? Everybody got it so far?
Yeah.
Or maybe they had a problem with their lungs, correct? Because of the poison gas. Or maybe they had a problem with their eyes, so they couldn't see as well. And are you going to get a lot of jobs if you are half blind? You guys get it? All right, so millions of soldiers' casualties. In addition, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to in part cause a collapse in economy. Now, the majority of the collapse in economy is not from the casualties of war, but from the damages, not from the money, the damages of the war. Germany is supposed to pay for all of it, but they're not able to, which means are the economies of France and Italy and Great Britain going to recover? No, it's going to take years, decades, before the rest of Europe recovers from the problems that happened in World War I. Does that make sense? So you have a terrible, awful economy. We're going to get into that, a lot more depth into that in the next unit, but you should know that the economy is tanked. Good? What else is a result? We now have the concept of total war. We now have a concept of what war is like if the whole country gets involved.
Yep.
This is now a reality. It wasn't before. It could happen again. You have, because of total war, you have tanks. You have airplanes. You have, what is another new weapon? I'm thinking something much bigger than that. It's in the water. Submarines. And ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have a new development in the next world war, in the next total war. You're going to combine water and air, and what are you going to create? Yes, a boat that is this long because they've always had battleships. This particular one, you're adding something from the air.
Airplane. The airplane.
An aircraft carrier. The reason it's this long is for no other reason except to make a landing strip in the middle of the ocean. So you can combine water and air. Do you guys get it? Okay, good. Now that's World War II, but I'm telling you, the total war is a new concept, but it's a new concept because of World War I. Everybody clear?
Yes.
Good. Don't get distracted by the aircraft carrier answer on the test. All right.
That's
Now.
be on the test. It is. You guys write it down.
Okay, so I'm trying to remember if there's anything else in between. Huh?
Aircraft.
Don't worry about
carrier.
I'm saying don't get distracted by that answer on the test. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We also have, as a result, ladies and gentlemen, we also have some new countries. Because of the Treaty of Versailles, because of the other treaties in the Paris Peace Conference, we have new countries. What are some new countries that are a result? Or actually, what countries are broken up?
Ottoman.
These countries don't exist because of World War I. Yes?
Ottoman Empire went into Turkey. Or like became Turkey.
Yeah, Ottoman Empire is no longer exists. It's not an empire. Part of it becomes Turkey. The other part of it becomes mandates. Basically colonies for Great Britain and France. What else does not exist because of World War I?
Austria-Hungary.
Austria-Hungary.
Great Britain.
Now they're cut in half and they're all little countries. Does that make sense? Austria, yes, but Hungary, and then you have a bunch of other countries like Poland and Romania, etc., etc. Okay. What else? What else doesn't exist? Russia is now the Soviet Union. Everybody clear so far?
Yep.
Good. And then you're going to have a weakening of all the empires. The Ottoman Empire and the Austro-Hungarian Empire, they no longer exist anymore. But Great Britain's empire is much weaker after World War I. You have now countries like India and South Africa and Canada and Australia who are all saying, hey, we helped you fight in World War I. Now you should return the favor. What do they want? They want independence. Does that make sense? Everybody clear? Fantastic, marvelous, grand, great, beautiful. These are generally the results or the effects of World War I.